Meanwhile, you're always about women's business, always talking about the sisters, always talking to the sisters. They've got mahrams, they've got walis, they've got their guardians, and it isn't you. I mean, I hate to use their terminology, but this is about the most beta thing you can possibly do. Always in the women's section. And the irony is that these are the same ones who are endlessly droning on and on about masculinity. Meanwhile, you can't do the basic thing, the most basic thing that men do as men, which is to ignore women. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean that in an obnoxious way, but women have their world, their sphere, and men have their world and their sphere. But meanwhile, you're always trying to weasel your way into the sphere of women, under the guise of nasiha, under the guise of advice. But you're just like a peeping Tom who's trying to justify why he's doing what he's doing by saying that you're just trying to check up on the sisters to make sure that they're safe. No, it's not your business. The men are over here, brother. Meanwhile, you keep sliding your way back to where the sisters are. And, this is very disrespectful. It's very insulting to their walis. I mean, let's take this offline, Let me catch you on the street talking to my wife or talking to my sisters about how they shouldn't go out, or they shouldn't go to the gym, or they shouldn't go to school, or you don't like the way they're dressed, or what have you. I wish you would. You better hope that that red pill you took is a painkiller, because you're going to be dancing cheek to cheek with the concrete here.
Get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life. Get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Your life. Run up when you see me, no disguises. Keep that thing with me, cause I don't do surprises. J Chanel, show and tell, all facts, no lies, streak. Get your life, cause I'm the type to come to it that 9 quick. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life. Get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life.
Focus there.
Watch them cause they after me like a pot of gold. I'm not for play, ask Keisha if you don't know. I'm a little bit cray-cray, approach me, you better be right. If you don't come correctly, you can catch these cans tonight. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle's so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life.
Get your life.
Get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life.
Get your life, boo.
Alrighty, good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon there, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all give me a 1 or 2 down there in the listening lounge if you folks can hear me loud and clear. Let me get a 1 or a 2 down there. Hey, Shar, how you doing? Good to see you. Let me drop a 1 or a 2 in the lounge for me, if you don't mind. Let me know before I get started here. I'm going to try and keep this right at a little 2 hours there, ladies and gentlemen. I got something to do a little bit later on. But, I didn't. Thank you there, Shar. Got the 1 or 2. Let me turn down my background music just a little bit more there. So, yeah, I don't like to scream too much. Go cover a gamut of things there today, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, I didn't call this as you say, my loose nigga roundup. We're gonna talk about a little politics. We're gonna talk about, of course, the Anton Daniels, what y'all want to call the concubine, whatever you want to call the debacle. We're gonna talk about did Corey Holcomb exposed the lead attorney, and we also gonna talk about the angry man. So I guess in a way it's going to be a loose nigga roundup. The angry man and what he said about Obama. Been back and forth a little babysitting duty for some folks over there. Not babysitting, but, watching some animals, some four-legged alarm bells, as I call them. So if y'all hear them in the background barking every once in a while, shh, don't tell nobody. They're doing what they do, protecting and serving. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing down there? Whoever you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, thank you so much. You could be anywhere tuning in to anybody, but you decided to drop on through here. I ain't going to hold you long. Like I said, we're going to start to it. The first thing off the presses, stop the presses, stop the presses. Somebody sent me something saying Trump is doing a military buildup there in Iran there, folks. Are anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised that him and Pete Hegseth is up to no good? But they're messing with the wrong folks. Them folks strike back. Full alert. Say no, drive, run, folks. Trump said one thing other than the immigrant thing, he ran on no wars. Remember that? Go look at his record since the year he's been in office. Pay attention to the news, folks. It's all over the news right now. Shout out to the person that sent me that clip there. You know exactly who you are. Thank you so very much. Listen, speaking of news and speaking of leaders, I don't know if y'all watched the hearings last week with the Attorney General, if you want to call her that. How she went up on Capitol Hill and made an absolute fool of herself. Made an absolute debacle of what they call the laws in the state, in the United States of America. Lies, name calling, like she was in some 4th grade play somewhere, or she didn't like somebody. So she came with a book full of accusation and innuendos instead of answering the direct questions about Jeffrey Epstein. It's funny how people will go to great lengths to protect these people. How people will give up their entire careers to protect not only Donald Trump, but whoever else is listed in there. This is not guessing. This is fact that Donald Trump is mentioned several times in the Epstein files. So they muddied the waters, folks. What did they do? They so-called released some of the files. 3 million. Think about that. Versus how many of it hasn't been released. And his name is all over it. We find people of prominent wealth in this country all over the Epstein files. This ain't about whether you have an R or a D in front of your name. This is about human decency. So for all you folks that's protecting these people, you got to ask yourself, why? Especially for you that have daughters, nieces. You got to ask yourself, some of these people are still walking around right now. They're still scarred from what went on back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. There's pictures all over the place of these bad guys. We heard Kash Patel. We heard Pam Bondi. And anyone that could grab a mic on a Sunday say that there was no other people that they could charge. So who was Epstein trafficking all these folks to? The thousands of people. Nobody. It was just him and Maxwell. Are there any co-conspirators? There's no credible information. If you've been watching the files and the trial, you know there's plenty of credible information. Why hasn't anyone been charged yet? Why aren't we watching those Senate hearings instead of guessing? Why aren't we prosecuting them? The last time I talked about this, they shut my video down, folks. Somebody went back, and because they didn't like what I was saying, YouTube didn't shut it down. Somebody tagged it for misinformation. Imagine that. I use clips from YouTube, but somebody went and tagged it for information. So you couldn't have tagged it about the clips I used. You had to tag it about information about misinformation about what I was saying. Because all the clips that I used in that last video was directly from YouTube. So let's see if this one will get through. We're going to start here. Let me take this off the screen. Y'all hold your breath. Y'all hold your collective breaths. Let me take this off the screen here, and we'll get to our first video. This is the Attorney General, folks. Y'all pay attention to this.
The gentleman from Maryland.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by saying I appreciate what you said, Attorney General Bondi, and you said it to me personally, that you take the personal security of every member of Congress seriously and that people can contact you about that. And in these times, that's a very serious matter. So I thank you for that. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7 of the Constitution is the Domestic Emoluments Clause. And it says that the president is limited to his salary in office and cannot receive any other money from the federal government while he's in office. It cannot be increased by $1. This president is the first president in U.S. history who has repeatedly sued the federal government for $230 million for the judicial search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, which was perfectly lawful and was never struck down. But now he's suing the IRS for $10 billion. He's suing the IRS for $10 billion.
Let's pause that right there. Before we go any further, I want y'all to manage the scope of that. Donald Trump is suing the IRS. What is the IRS? Where do you pay your taxes to? Who do you look for in April 15th to get your money back? Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is suing the IRS for $10 billion. But wait, there's more.
Which I think is around 80% of its annual budget, because his tax returns were leaked, and they were illegally leaked by a private contractor who actually is in prison now, Charles Littlejohn, but he wants $10 billion. Now, but I want to ask you the question of whether you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for you to settle that $10 billion case or any of the other claims that the president has made against the government. He himself has remarked, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the deal, right? And he says, I kind of have to work it out with myself. Do you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for the president to work out a deal from people who are his subordinates under his unitary executive theory to get money in one of these cases?
I'm not going to discuss pending litigation.
Okay, so theoretically you're saying because his privacy...
She's not going to discuss pending litigation, so let's discuss it for a minute. Basically, what this senator is saying, this guy is saying, Jamie Raskin is saying that the president of the United States that should not be receiving any money while he's in office is enriching himself by suing us, the taxpayer, by suing CBS, by suing NBC. He has literally made billions of dollars while he has been in office. This is not innuendo. This is fact. Go look it up for yourself. His family has made several millions of dollars. Now he wants to sue the federal government, the IRS. As you heard Jamie Raskin say, 80% of their budget for $10 billion. And nobody finds that alarming. The way you hear folks still defending Trump and his policies. Still defending him. Explain that.
rights were violated in that tax case, and they were. I'm with the president on that. I mean, his Mar-a-Lago thing is ridiculous, but there's no doubt that his tax returns, despite the fact that he promised to release them, despite the fact that every other president released the tax returns, he suffered embarrassment when it showed that he hadn't paid taxes for several years, and he had a right for that not to happen. Now, I want to turn back to the Epstein survivors, because President Trump may have been a little bit embarrassed by the release of those tax returns. How much do you think the claims of these survivors are worth? And
before he goes any further there, the reason why he was embarrassed because it shows he didn't pay any taxes, or when he did, it was a minuscule amount. Trump found every loophole that he possibly could to avoid paying taxes. And when he did pay, he didn't pay very much. Again, documented. This is not innuendo, YouTube. This is documented. And there's some years that he didn't pay any taxes at all. Zero.
The good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you
Okay,
don't, do you?
I'm going
Why
to teach you
just
the
made a
rules again.
face?
You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules
obsessed
here.
with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
With
And the rules,
obsessed with Donald Trump. You
No.
have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman,
Chase
I'd like my time
Mulligan will be
restored. I'd like my
sentenced
time
next week.
restored.
And this is the Attorney General of the United States talking about Trump deranged syndrome. Like this is some term that people go lay on some couch in some psychiatrist's office and talk about. The only place you hear about Trump deranged syndrome is those who try to excuse what Trump is doing. And that's the term that they want to use. Or you must be crazy because you're going against Trump. You must be deranged. You got to be crazy. Trump deranged syndrome. You got to have it. That's the only way. You cannot agree with the Orange Master. You got to be deranged. But who is really deranged? Whose eyes are wide shut? Pam Bondi, yours definitely is.
In your district. In your district, and
stop
you
the
don't
clock.
even know about it, about keeping children
Time belongs
safe
to
from
the
online
gentleman.
predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. Gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this, because this is the Attorney General of the United States whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes, and so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to
Excuse
answer?
me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed.
Now, hey, Al Boogie, how you doing? Great to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Now, one thing I want y'all to notice, everything Pam Bondi pulls out about these different senators or congressmen, everything she pulled out, the person that she pulled out is a person of color. No disrespect to my palm-colored folks, but y'all commit crimes too. So my question to Pam Bondi is, why didn't you go pull up some palm-colored folks to say these folks is committing crimes too? Hey, Candy Cane Lane, how you doing? And speaking of Candy Cane Lane, she said something earlier today that I'm gonna cover a little bit later on. You posted something, Candy Cane Lane, that I'm gonna speak on it just a little bit later on when we get to the next part of our show here.
to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule of this part. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Now watch how she answers this question, folks. Instead of saying yes, of course I will, automatically attacks. This is, again, I can't stress this no better, worse than this. This is the seated Attorney General of the United States. She's playing for an audience of one right now. So listen to all of her nasty, as I like to call them, nasty grams. Instead of talking about what's going on, she is now about to do this.
Gentlelady can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing
Shame
you.
on you.
The time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind the committee that last Congress, Secretary Mayorkas was here numerous.
Now, this clown right here, why is he even? We know Jim Jordan's history. There should be some folks from the University of Ohio, the Ohio State Buckeyes, that can tell you about this guy's history. How he shut up, how he didn't say nothing, what was going on behind the scenes with them as young men. So why would he be sitting at the forefront of a committee like this? Anybody asked that question yet? Why didn't he recuse himself from this particular committee? Anybody? And he pretty much gives Pam Bondi carte blanche to say anything she wants. And notice every time that if you go back to these particular hearings, each time the Republican spoke or a Democrat spoke, there was a Republican that was after him. And she would always say, "Can I have 20 seconds?" And every Republican that was at that hearing, at those hearings, gave Pam Bondi an extra 20 seconds to spew this bullshit. They are just as complacent as Pam Bondi. She might have took the full brunt of the embarrassment, but the whole entire Republican Party should be embarrassed about this display of leadership, especially with this guy sitting at the helm, Jim Jordan. What a joke.
Times, and he wouldn't answer our questions, even when we sent them to him ahead of time in writing. So that's what we've had to deal with. I think the Attorney General is doing just fine. We have votes shortly. I will go to the gentleman from Virginia, and then we will take a break to head to the floor.
I thank the Chairman, Attorney General Bondi. Thank you for being here. And I wanted to thank you for your work at DOJ in restoring the rule of law, encouraging transparency surrounding Jack Smith's partisan investigations into President Trump, declassifying information about the Russia collusion hoax, cracking down on sanctuary jurisdictions, and establishing the National Fraud Enforcement Division. Let me first go to securing the border and immigration enforcement. Our new governor has recently rescinded 287G cooperation between the state and ICE. Can you talk about, have you evaluated the public safety impact, how that would affect safety in Virginia to withdraw that support, and what that would do to criminal activity involving illegal immigrants in Virginia?
Yes, it would be detrimental. And as you know, Congressman, one of the top members of MS-13 in the entire country was living in Virginia, in a suburb among all of us, living not even probably half an hour away from where we are now. And and it's a shame that that's happening now. Americans,
I want to move on to the fraud enforcement division that you've established and the misappropriation of taxpayer-funded benefits.
And
that's exactly what it said.
This is what the Republicans did, folks. They soft-pedaled questions. They cherry-picked things that, of course, that their base would already agree with. Now, let's talk about immigration. I heard a couple of folks in the last couple of days talking about what immigration is, and it's a detriment, and we should get rid of all immigrants. Oh, really? Okay, I tell you what. When it comes farm season, you take your ass out there to them farms and pick those apples, those oranges, those peaches, those watermelons, those peas. You take your ass out there and pick it. Matter of fact, why don't you go to the local chicken farm where they slaughter the chickens, or they slaughter the pigs, or where they slaughter the other things that you eat, that you consume, that you see wrapped up in your pork chops, that you see wrapped up in your local freezer. Why don't you go apply for a job over there for $10 an hour? Why don't you go do that instead of complaining about how bad immigration is? Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you go take one of those jobs that those immigrants are taking? Because they damn sure ain't in tech. They damn sure ain't your supervisor. They damn sure ain't the lead crew of a Fortune 5 country, a company. So what are the immigrants doing? This country thrives on immigration. That's what it's based on, other than, that S word that y'all don't like to talk about. And that R word that y'all don't like to talk about. That's what this country thrives on, immigration. Let me see who I can find to work for me cheap. If you want to talk about solving the problem of immigration, start holding the people that bring these immigrants here they'll know that they're illegal, but still have them working in their factories, that still have them bunched up 12 to a room. If you want to hold somebody accountable, who the immigrants working for? I don't know. Who they working for? Are they just coming to America squatting at your front door? Are you giving them a job, cutting your yard every 2 weeks? Who they working for? Who's hiring them to work in these chicken factories? Who's hiring them to work at these car lots? Who's hiring them to work at these jobs that nobody wants? Pam Bondi? You think she going? And look behind her. There's 2 survivors behind her right there. But she's talking about holding folks accountable. Not once during the course of those hearings, those 2 women behind her, did Pam Bondi turn around and say, look, I'm sorry, what happened to you? But she's talking about holding somebody accountable. Come on, folks. Do y'all expect better? This is what you voted for. This is what we told y'all. Project 2025, we told y'all that if Donald Trump got a second term, he learned from his mistakes. Next time, he said he was going to get in office, he was going to put only people around here that agreed 100% with him. And if you did, you got the fuck on. He told you that. But there will be a day of reckoning. Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, and those who was about to take us to war in Iran, it will be a day of reckoning for this. Let's listen to a little bit more of her bullshit.
To help.
Okay. I know that whether it was related to fraud specifically or another subject, that under the Biden administration, there was a sitting member of the Virginia General Assembly under investigation. Is that investigation still ongoing? Can you speak to that?
I can't discuss that.
Okay. I'm going to move on.
Of course you can't, because you won't discuss the fact that there's somebody in Trump's cabinet right now that took $50,000 bribe on tape from the FBI and has not been charged yet. So miss me with the idea that you're trying to stump up crime and fraud in the United States government. $50,000 on tape, video, go look it up. that he has not been charged of, it just swept under the rug. But they always want to blame Biden. Biden did this. Obama did this. This Epstein shit been around for years. This stretched all the way back to the Bush era. They could have gotten. They could have got rid of Jeffrey Epstein years ago. Excuse me. He was supposed to be locked up years ago. But the Repubs only want to point out what Biden didn't do. Obama. Okay, the Obamas didn't do anything either. But Merrick Garland wasn't shit. He didn't even want to impeach Trump for the obvious crimes that he was doing. Because it was politically incorrect.
On to the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans. Last year, President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law, which included the Hearing Protection Act, part of it that was sponsored by myself and Congressman Clyde. It reduced the national firearms tax, $200 tax on suppressors and short-barreled firearms to zero.
Okay, so they're going to be talking about the gun right here. But a couple of weeks ago, all the Republicans was up in arms because of what happened to Alex Preddy. He shouldn't have came to a peaceful protest with a gun. So what happened to his the Second Amendment that you're about to lay claim to? Alex Purdy didn't have a right to the Second Amendment. A lawful, law-abiding citizen by many folks, many folks. He was an all-around good guy with a right to carry a firearm, but yet he got 10 bullets pumped into him. But listen what they're about to tell you about the Second Amendment.
Zero. And while the tax has been eliminated, the NFA's registration and paperwork requirements remain in effect, and your DOJ has said that would, even though the tax was reduced to zero, that the registration requirement is still somehow necessary, even though with regard to Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, when that mandate was, when that tax penalty was reduced to zero, you decided that the mandate was no longer necessary. How are you justifying the existence of this registry?
Congressman, that's pending litigation right now.
It is, and I would hope
Yes,
you would
and I can't
reconsider.
discuss it.
You would reconsider that. I yield back.
The gentleman yield?
I yield to the chairman.
I think that Attorney General Bondi, why did Jack Smith have to pay some secret source $20,000 of taxpayer money? Do you know the answer to that?
And here it is again. It's always trying to. Here it is. He's the chairman. You're supposed to hold order, not introduce bullshit, new parameters into a hearing that has nothing to do with Jack Smith. Muddy the waters as much as you can. Here it is, Jim Jordan. You're supposed to be impartial up there. Does that look like impartiality to you folks? Does that look like he's being impartial? Why did Jack Smith ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right here? Nothing.
I can't discuss anything on that matter, but that's a good question, Chairman Jordan.
Well said. It's a good question because he subpoenaed just about every Republican in this town, got half the Congress's phone numbers if you were a Republican.
And for every subpoena that what Jim Jordan is leading out, he still defied the subpoena that he was supposed to adhere to. Till this day. But they're talking about people defying subpoena, lawful subpoenas, when he himself defied a lawful subpoena.
But he has to pay some secret source a bunch of taxpayer money. We'd like to know, the committee would like to know how many other sources he paid. Was it more than $20,000? Why he had to do those things? We'd like to know when you can, if you could get that information to the committee. I think when you think about the guy who was trying to put the President of the United States in prison, ridiculous as that whole thing was, we'd kind of like to know the answer to that if you could. And with that, we're going to stand in recess. We will go as quickly as we can and vote. We have 2 quick votes on the floor.
And that, folks, is what they call introducing. Let me tell you something. This is what I want. This is a message from Donald Trump. Here's what I want you to put in front of the table, in front of everybody, while you have your. I want to start an investigation under Jack Smith. And here's the parameters of the investigation. So that's what Jim Jordan just delivered to Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. Donald Trump's wishes, not only Donald Trump, but Stephen Miller as well. Call it what you want, but y'all don't think Donald Trump is this smart, do you? Y'all don't give him that much credit, do you? Let's get this off the screen and move on to our next thing. Now, y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump decided during the kickoff of Black History Month to retweet or tweet a racial epitaph of Michelle and Barack Obama, which is expected. I don't know why people thought anything different. I don't know why people was expecting an apology from Donald Trump on this. But what troubled me the most was the Black people that defended Trump. And some of these so-called Black people, Beano Nation, Black in name only, like the Angry Man, had something to say about that. Now, I don't know, Zahara, I don't know if you're out there, but you know, I told you sooner or later we was going to do a loose nigga roundup on Angry Man. So that's definitely coming. But for right now, I want y'all to listen to what this dumb fuck said about the Barack Trump incident. Now, I want y'all, before we get into it, I want y'all to think about this. Let's take politics out of this. Somebody you know takes the time to put your wife's picture on the face of a ape, orangutan, monkey, whatever, along with you. As a man, what do you think I'm going to do to you? But I remember there was a time when folks was up in arms about Michelle, about not going to Donald Trump's inauguration. Now you know why. Black men was up in arms about that. Decorum. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about decorum, and he don't give a fuck about y'all, Black folks. Angry Man, Donald Trump is not going to come save you. Y'all listen to this clown ass nigga right here.
Trump is going to be a racist, inevitably. Not because he's an actual racist, but because mainstream media is determined that they're going to come on TV every chance they get, regardless of what the circumstances are, and scream to the heavens that Trump is racist until they say it enough times to where you believe it. I'm sick of it.
This nigga right here, I'm sick of it. Let me tell you something. If your cousin say you're a racist, if your butler say you're a racist, if your niece say you're a racist, if your brother say you're a racist, if your nephew say you're a racist, if your daddy was hanging out with racist organizations, if you, throughout the history of you, have called out for the degradation of Black people just because you hung amongst us at one time in the 80s and the 90s, that don't mean you're not a racist. Now, history speaks for itself when it comes to Donald Trump and his, I'm trying to find a good word here, his reaction to Black folks. This was the same man that said if he died, he would wanted to come back as a Black man simply because Black men get everything handed to them. Some folks, some of y'all took that as a compliment. He called for the, thank you, Candy Kane. He called for the execution of the Central Park Five. And once these men were exonerated, after they went through hell in prison, because understand, these kids, they were teenagers when they went to jail. Donald Trump called for their execution, he took out ads in all the major newspapers in New York at that time. Because you have to look at it. At that time, that was how folks got their news. Wasn't no internet yet. So you had one of the richest so-called white Americans taking out a full-paid ad calling for the execution of you. You think their families didn't catch hell? Y'all think not? How about some of y'all liked what's her name? Manigault. What's the lady's name that was in Donald Trump's first cabinet when she was saying, "Oh, Donald Trump is a racist." Yeah, I heard him say. Y'all brushed her off because everybody was mad at her. You could fuck up and still tell the truth, and that's what what's her name? Omarosa. That's what she did. She fucked up, but she still told the truth. She took the Kool-Aid of Donald Trump too. Marjorie Taylor Greene drunk the Kool-Aid. Absolutely, she drunk the Kool-Aid of Donald Trump. Now you see where she at. M-rated captures. If you want to request a song there, sir, you'll have to catch me at another time. This is a different type broadcast. The request line is listed down in the description over there, or you can hit me up on the messenger and just leave me a link or the name of the song and the artist, and I'll be more than happy to get it on for you. All right. Welcome to the Real Rondo. Appreciate you dropping through. But there's so many instances of people giving up their entire life for the sake of Donald Trump. And we saw what Marjorie Taylor Greene did. She was the biggest Trump supporter. So even if she's jumping ship, something tell you something wrong. Tim Scott, the yassa boss that he is, he jumped ship. He jumped ship. Rand Paul, all these folks that said that they was rocking with Donald Trump, his what do you call it? His approval rating is the lowest of any president. But still, y'all got folks rocking with Trump. Hey, I ain't mad at you, but don't be mad at me because I'm pointing it out. Don't go hitting my channel for misinformation when the damn information is right here in front of you. This ain't an accident. Listen to this nigga right here. This is why I find this shit at. This is why I speak on this. Listen to this. You know damn well you don't drive no car like that. Beano Nation, black in name only. So why are you even speaking about us? If you black in name only, that means nothing else affects you except for how people see you walking down the street. Black. So why are you speaking about us? Angry man. I'm gonna use my African voice on you, bitch ass nigga. Move this shit on. The reason, listen, folks. The reason why I leave shit up like this, so folks can't say, "Well, you used my shit and didn't say," because this is what like angry man like to do. This is what angry men like to do. They like to talk about me, but they won't give me credit. Give you credit for what? For giving me some shit to talk about? Bitch ass nigga.
Someone in the Trump administration, someone in the White House, decided to post a video that depicted former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as primates. Now, needless to say,
okay, before we goes any further, first of all, you know, you hear all these folks all the time. Hey, there's a horror. You stepped in right at the perfect time there because you just what you're calling him, angry clown. So you know, it's so many times these folks are in these echo chambers for so long, they really believe the shit that's coming out their mouth. So let me educate you a little bit there, Angry Bird. Let me break it down to the smallest thing. In order for Donald Trump to retweet that or or tweet that, he has to have them kind of folks in his orbit. Those folks have to be around him. Those are what they think. And we know throughout history, since you only identify yourself as black in name only. Let me give you some more history. Black in name only, dumbass. That is a racial trope that has followed people throughout history. So there was no mistake about it. If he didn't mean to do it, or if he just thought about it was in poor taste, or this is fucked up, he wouldn't have retweeted it at all. He knew exactly what he was doing. You're talking about living rent-free in somebody's head. Obama lives rent-free in Trump's head. And any disparaging or disrespectful thing that he can find out about Trump, Obama, he is either going to say it or he's going to retweet it. Imagine the things that don't get retweeted. Imagine the things that he do look at that he don't click the retweet button for. This was one that just slipped.
Needless to say, mainstream media is running with this story. Mainstream media has already decided to be completely outraged. Oh my God, it's the most racist thing that has ever happened in the history of ever. Right? But they left out context.
Here we go. See,
they left out a lot of context, right?
See, I told you, they always try to throw this, they left out context at you. I told you that. That's what these dumb asses do. SMCC, we just a little bit of everything. You missed the opening salvo. Now we're just moving into the YouTube streets. Sure. Range 488. What's your question? Go ahead. So, Range, let me, before I get into this, what's your question? I'll play this, and we'll listen to Angry Man while I wait for your question.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the whole video so you guys can see what the video has in it.
Well, I don't know why he's continuing to let the video play, but what is his point of letting this play? What is he going to say? That this is for the Lion King and it was not a racial trope? Because I didn't watch this, folks. So we watching this
now that you see the full video.
Okay, shut up a minute, bitch. I'm talking. I control shit over here. Now that I see the full video, you didn't need to play it that far. Somebody just put in just here that the world is so soft today. It's not a matter about being soft. The world is so disrespectful today that 10, 15 years ago, no one would thought this was funny. No one would do this. Now, this is what your ringleader has brought to the table. Folks got mad at me in 2015 and 2016 when I said Donald Trump opened the floodgates for racism to come by. They flooded my comment section with you just being a race baiter. No, I'm not. I'm telling the damn truth because I'm right. Prove me wrong. And you said, Ranger said something about your stomach problem, but I'm a DJ. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what I can help you. Let's listen to the Angry Bird some more.
Now that you see the full video, do you think, to everybody watching, I just want you to be honest. And if you think this, just be honest. Now that you see the full video, do you think it's racist? Now that you see the full video in context, do you think?
From start to finish, I think it's racist. Now, let me read this comment. I don't think it was a fortunate slip. I think apart from the agenda, it's apart from the agenda they used to rage baiting and being used to trigger black folks. You're absolutely right. Because they didn't have anything else. They couldn't get us out. They couldn't get us out in the fight there, El Boogie. So they know black folk was going to come out and speak on this. They knew this. I agree with you 100%. If all else fails, call them a monkey. They'll come out. If all else fails, call them a boy. If all else fails, use the N-word with impunity. They'll come out. This is all they have left. So I agree with you 100%. And here we are, this guy right here. Dub, okay, I guess you want your $20 worth. So again, I don't miss words over here. I don't know if this is your first time listening to me. This might be your last, though. I don't miss words. So I'll ask you, what has Donald Trump done for black people? Actually, what has he done for you other than pick your pocket clean? Other than put your folks that's maybe in a rest home somewhere, damn near back to where they got to live in your basement? Other than putting 74,000 folks out of work? Other than being a convicted 34,000 felony, other than trying to get 10 billion in the from the IRS of your money. So what has he done for black folks? Unemployment is at an all high for black women and black men. Unemployment is at an all high for white men and white women. So what are you talking about? They rounded up folks with impunity, not based on who they are, but what they look like. Now, what you can go ahead and do is go ahead and sit on down in the corner. Rethink what you came in here for. And if you want to have a civil conversation, we can do that. Other than that, sit down.
Think the intention of the video was to be racist to Barack and Michelle. Because I do have to point something out real quick. Because I will say this. Now, is it in poor taste? Possibly. But I do have to point this out, right? They had Joe Biden as an ape too. They had Joe Biden as an ape too, right? So first thing we got to point out, because I got a lot to say about this. I got a whole lot to say about this.
It really don't matter. It doesn't matter what you got to say, to be quite honest with you, because there they go, back to what Biden said. Okay, this is not about Biden. This is about a seated president of the United States making an accusation or putting out a racial trope about a former president. Fuck the civilians. A civilian did that to Joe Biden. It's a different playing field. A seated president put out a racial trope about a former president and a former first lady. Point blank, full stop. There's no comparison to who did it to Biden. There's no comparison, angry man. But you'll keep on running that damn suck until you think you done had a mic drop moment and stop them for a cash app or two.
The first thing that we need to point out is that the White House didn't create this.
Makes no difference.
Trump's team did not create this.
So who created it?
Okay.
Who
they
created
did not
it?
create it, right?
Who did? Who did? Who the
In
fuck did?
fact,
Oh, who did?
it's even more diabolical than you think.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Y'all listen to this stupid shit here.
There is some sort of discrepancy around whether or not they even posted this.
What you mean? What the fuck is the discrepancy? Have y'all heard any? Honestly, this is why I stay away from dumbass. This motherfucker got up this morning, ate a big bag of dumbass before he recorded this video. Discrepancies in what? What is the discrepancy? Have we seen a president of the United States retweeting or tweeting for the first time the former president and the former first lady as primates? What's more diabolical than that? I don't give a fuck where it came from. But this is the guy that y'all go over there and sit up under. Candy Cane, this is point to you now. You put something on your community tab earlier. When did we start holding us accountable? When do you start listening to this shit right here and make a conscious decision to say, you know what? I'm not going to support this guy no more because this shit is ludicrous. I'm not that dumb. They live for your money. They live for your super chats. We're going to talk about the lead attorney, how he had y'all fooled. But when we was talking about him a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, calling him out, talking about this guy can't be a real attorney when he got his nose stuck in everybody else's business. I don't give a damn if it's client attorney privilege or not. You can still be held to bear for some of the shit that you say. Remember when he was fucking around with Tasha K? But y'all sit up under these damn YouTube philosophers and think they're giving you real scoop like this.
You know how when you're on TikTok, or not TikTok, when you're on Twitter, right? When you're on X, you could have a video that you posted that's under your name, right? And then when that video's over, another video starts playing. Some are saying that this video wasn't even posted by Trump. The original video was about voter fraud. The original video was a graph that was showing voter fraud. And when that video was over, this was the next video that played, right? But we all know when it comes to...
No, I didn't say that at all. I said there is a difference. I said, let me, I hate to have to explain this shit because I'm really tired of listening to Angry Man. I'm trying to read the comments and listen to Angry Bird yap, 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 yap at the same time. But let me go ahead and stress something to you, my man. It's never okay to be a racist. The point that I'm making is, here it is. You have the so-called most powerful man in the world retweeting something, racial epithet about another former president. I'm not saying that if a civilian did it, it's all right, by no stretch of the imagination. But what I'm saying is, damn, you got to see there is a difference. You can't hold us as regular citizens to the same standard that you hold a president of the United States. That is the point. I'm surprised that I got to spell that out to some of you folks. Jesus, jumping up Christ. You got to be kidding me.
The lefties, it doesn't matter. Like logic doesn't matter. None of that, right? Now, I will say this. Even if the White House
let me shut them up because I see I'm going to have to pay a little bit more to the comment. And here's another one, the SMC. I don't know why sometimes some of you folks come in and you just stick out to me, so I kind of roll off your comments and then we'll add some others. But here's another one of your comments. The fact that you let a fake video get you tilted like this is wild. What's fake about the video? What's fake about the video, SMC? Do we not see the former president and the former first lady depicted as animals? So which part of that is fake? Do we now know that the sitting president of the United States, regardless to where they originated from, it wasn't fake, it was created. The purpose that it was created for, it served its purpose. Brought you here, brought me here. You to defend racism, and me to point it out. So which part of that is fake, sir? SMC. I'll wait. Let's see what's this next comment here. Trump called the cops on Epstein in 2006. Trump locked up Epstein in 2019. Trump released the files 2025. All the Democrats did was get money from Epstein PDF Iden. Well, again, sir, you're entitled to your opinion on that, Lone Wolf, but I think history tells a different story. I don't know what part of history you decided that you want to adhere to, but you know, I think there's plenty of people that'll give you pushback on that statement right there. I learned to stay away from that because folks like to go and flag you when you disagree with them about the Epstein files. So I'm going to stay as far away as I possibly can in real life and online. But no, I'll just say it like this. I disagree with your statement. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. So what we got to do to fix it then? Honest question. Well, I think honestly, SMC, if you're being honest, I think we got to start holding these people accountable. We got to start hitting the people that put Epstein in play. Because let's face it, for the amount of years, regardless of whether Trump put him in jail in 2006 or he was still released. In the jail that he put him in, he was able to pretty much wander the streets. He just used the jail as his sleeping quarters overnight. So what punishment was that? You know, again, y'all want to exonerate Trump and the folks but they allowed this guy, and there's several pictures, several videos of Trump hanging out with this guy. How do you guys look past that? I don't know. So what we going to do to fix it there, SMC? You got to start at the top. You got to start holding these folks accountable. You know, they say if you shake the bushes, the rats will start coming out. These rich and powerful folks are not going to go down by themselves. They're not going to sit in jail for 20, 30 years and not tell on somebody. I guarantee you that.
Trump's administration reposted this. Let's say, for argument's sake, that Trump's administration actually reposted this. Do we really believe, do any of you believe that Trump is somewhere on his computer making AI videos of Barack and Michelle Obama as primates? Do y'all believe that?
No.
Do you believe that every single time something gets posted on Trump's Truth Social, it's him personally doing it?
No.
We know that. Of
course, it's not. We know that. But let y'all tell it. When Trump posts something you like, it came from his hands. When he posts something you don't like, you want to obfuscate and blame it on somebody else. So which is it? Is he a genius or is he a yassa boss? Which one is it? Is he leading the country or is he being led by somebody else? Which one is it, angry man? You can't have it both ways.
Anybody that has common sense knows that people at that level, people with that sort of following, they have people that manage their social media. But I have something that I want to say about it. And oh yeah, by the way, for all of you conflict creators that did not have a problem with Corey posting, creating a t-shirt that had this is why I'm glad that
now again, here's another problem that I'm having with these so-called content creators. They want to introduce politics But then all of a sudden they want to bring it back to the YouTube streets. What the fuck can Corey Holcomb do about what my man just did? What does Corey Holcomb have to do with this? What's up there, Rums? How you living? How you living? Hey, listen, you're not the only one that holds that opinion. Listen, this guy's been a thorn in my side for God knows how long. Any chance I get to point him out as wrong, I'm going to do it. And this is another one of these opportunities of me through the years of pointing Angry Man out. But you know something, though, Rums? What Angry Man has done, I've seen him on panel after panel. I've seen him confronting a whole lot of motherfuckers, but he has never confronted me. He's never taken the time to give me pushback. Do you think of all this time that I have been doing videos on Angry Man, he ain't seen none of them? Do you think that many times I done called him a 3-sandwich, pot-bellied, no content having motherfucker? He ain't heard that yet. I know the real reason why he don't fuck with me. And there's somebody in my audience that know the real reason why he don't fuck with me. Huh, Angry Man? Huh, Angry Man? We know you, don't we?
This situation happened. I'm so glad it happened because guess what? When Corey Holcomb did that live stream where he had a t-shirt that depicted Anton Daniels' wife and daughter as primates, a lot of you nigmas was saying that it was funny. That's what you were saying. So I want to see if you're going to think this is funny, right?
No, you called them right. Nigmas or loose niggas, because they did find it funny. Anybody that I know of any substance condemned Corey Holcomb for what he did. Even so much so, y'all thought the reason why one of his co-hosts was leaving because he refused to hold that shirt up. Believe it or not, Angry Man, there's a whole lot more of us that have standards than you want to give credit for. It's the folks that you hang around that had that problem. You new niggas, as you called them. It's you new niggas that thought that was funny.
I want to see if y'all think this is funny. I want to see if y'all are going to make the same excuses that you made for Corey Holcomb, right? But regardless, you can think what you want to think about Trump, about this video, about whatever. That's your business. It is what it is. You can think whatever you want to think. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to tell you what I think about it. And I'm going to tell you what I think about it under the assumption that, yeah, it was Trump that posted it. I'm going to give you my opinion from the perspective of, yeah, he posted it. So I'm going to sit here and pretend like, yeah, it was actually Trump that made the AI, which we know is not true. And it was actually Trump that posted it, which we also know is not true.
Okay, so if you know it's not true, why go into the assumption any further? This now becomes a speculation on your part. If you telling us this shit ain't true, but we gonna cover it anyway, does that make sense to y'all? This is backwater, and they like to call folks from the South Country and not smart. This is that backwater way of thinking right there. That double talk, yes, boss, and look how smart I am, boss. Is we sick? I've learned some new words in your dictionary, so I'm gonna see if I can use them to get some people to send me some money because nothing he said just now made any sense. Matter of fact. I've been waiting for a reason to use this one. Wait a minute, let me see if I can find it. Did anything Angry Man say just now make sense to you, sir?
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Even my man Glenn said, absolutely fucking not. Okay, angry man. I'm going to let you talk a little more.
But I'm going to give you my opinion that, yeah, he posted it. Would y'all like to know? Would y'all like to know what my opinion is? Raw and uncut. When it comes to my opinion, there are so many people that love to try to catch me in gotcha moments or whatever, right? And the problem that they don't get, this is why it's funny to me. Every time somebody tries to say, well, angry man, you thought this, and well, angry man, you thought that, and angry man, you did this and you did that, and blah, blah, blah. Let me explain something to you. Require your approval at all. You individuals that are detractors of mine that love to try to see if you can catch me in some hypocrisy.
Oh, nigga, please. Nigga, please.
Much of a fuck I don't give about your opinions. Trust and believe this misanthropic individual in the Rock and Michelle.
Didn't I tell y'all?
That's under your name, right? And then when that video's over, another video starts playing on his computer.
I messed up.
Had a T-shirt.
Okay, let me.
Well, angry man, you thought that, and angry man, you did this, and you did that. Right blah blah blah. Let me explain something to you.
Okay, listen, folks. Right now, I feel like he is talking to me, so I'm going to respond in kind. Okay, because right now I feel that he is talking to me. Okay, because I've covered Angry Man over the years, so I feel that he's talking to me. And you might be right there, Candy Cane. He don't want to give a brother some shine. Because I'll do him like that blue-haired Destiny did him. I'll put him to shame. We need no light to see through you, angry man.
Machinations of the angry man do not require your approval at all. You individuals that are detractors of mine that love to try to see if you can catch me in some hypocrisy or catch me in a gotcha moment, you really don't realize how much of a fuck I don't give about your opinions. Trust and believe this
Wait a minute, Danny. I'm sorry. I almost skipped over. What you mean they need a fart? Hey, what's up to HT Ball 1? Hey, Danny. How you folks doing? Again, angry man, I know you can. There's a way that you can go back, either look at the comments on the screen or go back and open up the comment section later on. But these are the folks that they're coming over because I'm talking about you. A lot of these folks I've never seen before. So when you hit the algorithm, sir, you don't hit it in a good light. That's brought on by your own saying shit like this. Wait a minute.
Misanthropic individual could care less what you think about what my opinion is. I'm the type of person that I could have a friend and my friend could do some shit and that friend could be dead wrong.
Right.
And you could look me straight in the face and come with nothing but pure 100% logic and say, well, you know, he did this and then he did that. And, you know, logically it's wrong. I've even heard you say that particular act is wrong. And I'll look you straight in the face and say, I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Well,
I don't care.
Again, there was an old song back in the face, smiling faces. You smile in your face. Sometimes they pretend to be your friends. They show no traces of the evil that lurk within. Can you dig it? Smiling faces tell lies. I got proof. It's power in music, folks. You see how easy I debunked what he said. That's not nothing new, angry man. That shit I've been hearing it since at least the damn 70s. That ain't nothing new. What content did you just put out just now? A whole lot of folks will come to you and lie straight to your face until you catch them red-handed. Okay, L Boogie. They don't tell the truth, do they? You catch them until you catch them red-handed to where there's no way for them to scheme or scream out of what you caught them in a lie that they've been telling you over and over. No amount of straight face, no nothing. I think as an adults, we've all had that happen to us at least once or twice in our life.
Oh, why not? Oh, that's my friend, and I'm riding with him. I don't give a shit. I'm not one of these individuals that allow people to try to use, you know, hypocrisy and you know, altruism and self-righteous sanctimony.
Well, let me ask you something, man. When is you gonna get to the real reason why Donald Trump posted that hideous meme of Michelle and Barack Obama? When you gonna get to that? Speak of being sanctimonious. This is a whole soliloquy of absolutely nothing but yeah. Now y'all look at me. Look how smart I am. Dumb as a bag of rocks.
Bullshit to try to divide and conquer. I don't like that. I don't like that because I know that you're using the concept of righteousness in a nefarious way. You're like, okay, that's not righteous, but you have ulterior motives.
See what it is now the pieties of the brother of the, excuse me, what is that again, my brother? Speak to me. There's some 70s wah-wah guitar music before they send that nigga to prison talk right there. Nigga that been in jail, in and out, think you know everything. They call them jailhouse lawyers now. They learned a few big letters and they try to incorporate them words on every fucking thing they use. Where do you think In Living Color got that damn skit from? Niggas like you, angry man. See, the pyorrhea, excuse me, I meant the diarrhea of your damn mouth tells me you about as dumb as a bag of rocks. You about as useless as tits on a boar hog.
For your bullshit, right? It is what it is. But here's my opinion on it.
Finally.
Even if it is believed to be a fact, even if it is the case, let me say it the way Andrew Wilson would say it. If it is the case that Trump actually posted that video, and if it is the case that it is an implication of racism, I don't give a shit.
That's the problem.
I don't care.
That is the problem. So you spent all that damn time. You collected all them super chats to tell a motherfucker you don't care. So why are you speaking on it? Beano Nation, I told y'all that from the beginning. That's what he's a part of. He's black in name only. So he told you from the beginning that he don't care. Now you heard it out his own mouth. He don't care as long as he can sell tickets. Hurry, step right out. See the angry man in his clown show coming to a YouTube stream near you. For a motherfucker that's got over so-called 1 million subs, he show park his ass in a garage basement somewhere or outside with a gas heater, what's that, a barbecue grill, heating his ass up. Long cold winter. But this is the guy y'all hold in esteem. Got to go back to my girl Candy Lane when she said it. Sometimes you got to stop saying it's the content creator and hold the people free to the fire that's consuming this content. How you think Anton Daniels got so big? Mika told you. We're going to get to that earlier, a little bit later on. I got to get out of here right about 8 o'clock. So I got about a little on the 45 minutes or so left. I'm going to let Angry Man speak a little bit more.
I don't care. I don't care how many of you believe Trump is racist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how many of you are going to call me a coon
mm-hmm.
for not caring.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why? Because I've come to the realization
that you're
that
a coon.
I'm sitting back and I'm watching.
That you're a coon. You already know that.
I'm sitting back.
You already know that. You're a coon. Instead of calling yourself Angry Man, you should call. I hate to use my own that damn name, Stephen, but damn it, they called me Stevie. So I'm affiliated with you just by saying they should call you Stephen from the Django. What he came in here talking about toads? Wait, hold on. Let me see if I missed some folks coming through the game here. Coming in. How you doing there? Auto passing, Automobile 71. Hello, USA. I don't know where you're from, but thank you for stopping in. Freedom. Let me see what you say here. Legalized dreamfish, Colorado River toad, cane toad, Yapo, Villica. What the hell is that? What is all of this? What is that, man? Okay. All right, my man. Okay. I don't know, bro. He says holy medicine. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. We'll talk about that another time. All right. And that's the thing there, HT Baldwin. You know, all these folks that's running Trump for cover, you know, in any other situation right now, they would have called, if this was me or you, HT Baldwin, and they got wind of what we did, if we were nefarious back in our earlier days, in our 20s and in our 30s, don't you know how many streams would have been held about us, calling us this? Ask them, Passport Brothers. To me, it's always called misplaced frustration. It's called that blind leading the blind. Trump is blind. He has blinded all of y'all to believing that it don't make a difference what happened to these young girls back then. I pray that none of y'all have girls, especially when you put it on wax like you do, and your daughter, your niece, your cousin see that this is what you think about someone that might have been SA'd at some point in their life.
And I'm watching as this all plays out, right? In fact, let me show you. I'm gonna give you a perfect example of what I mean.
Okay, here we go.
Let me pull this up real quick.
Here we go.
So here's an example of what I mean, and this is the BS, right?
Okay, what you got?
So you can kind of get an idea of why I feel the way I feel.
Well, we already
President
know why
Trump
you feel
just
that way.
Posted on social media a hideously racist image of President and First Lady Obama.
Nigga, go blow your nose.
It came in the midst of a wild social media jag where the president was retruthing or truthing all sorts of stuff. It started last night at 10:26 p.m. It continued until midnight. There was a video of some deranged person confronting me at the Republican National Convention. I had my earbuds in, didn't hear what you had to say, but I guess President Trump thought that was newsworthy. There were some
now let me pause this real quick, right? So here you have Tapper, and this is what's amazing about this. What's amazing about this is whenever liberal white folk play the victim when they feel something racial has been done to black people. Now, I just want you to think about that for a second. I just want you to think about that for a second.
President Trump just posted on social media.
He's a liberal white guy.
That's what this. Let me stop that.
Someone
I slipped.
in the Trump administration. I'm sick of it.
Okay.
I'm sick of Jake Tapper. I'm sick of Joy Reid. I'm sick of every one of you leftist assholes that don't know how to say nothing out of your mouth except Trump is racist, Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump. I am so sick and tired of the meat stretching. Get off that man's Johnson. Jesus Christ.
Now, since you took it there, who is screaming? Who is getting teabagged right now? Because you don't see the average person with any sense of dignity, any shred of dignity trying to defend Trump, regardless of whether for stealing billions of dollars, enriching his family, or his racial epithets or tendencies. Trump is a nasty man, bottom line to it. No one wants to hear you scream. That's why your chick put you outside. Y'all notice his background? Ain't that a kid's room? Huh? Or is that the kitchen? Or is that the cupboard? It's cold out there. Come on. Look at his background. They got little flowers in the back. The Grinch. See, this is another thing. When you folks open yourself up to criticism by having your background exposed, you people got to say, "My, how the mighty have fallen." Because I thought a man with over 1 million subs that's making all this money on YouTube would have invested in a better studio by now. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat. Press, like my man said, press one. Man cave. I would think he would do a little better than that with all the money he got. Press one. With all the money he say he getting. What studio? Outside? But that's enough of the angry man, folks. Let's move on from the angry man. I got some free time throughout the rest of the week. I'm gonna dig up some more angry man shit. Some things that some other folks have sent me. I heard him and his buddy Izzy Ain't Bad had another lovers quarrel. So we might cover that a little bit later on too. Anyway, folks. From one great super hero of the YouTube streets to another. The lead attorney. Folks been telling y'all for years, man, don't take everything that this guy says as gospel. Let me see. Hey there, Navik, can you shout out my friend Finn Germanes? What's up? How you doing? Thank you so very much for tuning in. This is the what do I call this? This is the Chop Shop. Yeah, I got so many different things going on. Thank you folks for jumping on in. Finn, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you for dropping in. Let me see. Where was I at here? Oh yeah. The lead attorney, as he calls himself, the lead attorney, made some heavy accusations about Corey Holcomb. Not only did he make them about Corey Holcomb, he made them about Corey Holcomb's lawyer. I decided to sit back and wait to see how Corey Holcomb's lawyer was going to respond. Because, again, you learn about the law in two ways. Either you on the good side of it or the bad side of it. Sometimes it rubs off. But me being on that side of the law says that, wait a minute, what the lead attorney doing ain't right. And he's trying to cover his track by showing that, yeah, he had what they call permission to interview Corey, but that was kind of, well, Y'all know my man over there. What's his name? Here we go. Not for Humans. Y'all can check him out over there. I put his link down in his stream. You can go like, share, and subscribe if you want to. But I think he had the shortest version of what I was going to talk about. Corey's lawyer wasn't having it. Was the HT Baldwin?
But I do have to protect myself now because of the lies and the narratives created, put out there against me. I'm proud to say I haven't had any drama with law enforcement. Basically, as I've been an adult. When I was young, you know, I had a shoplifting charge. Me and my guys, we thought we could steal, but I realized this ain't finna be my life. So what I'm trying to get at is this, because I'm finna bring my man on. The liars are so in power. The wicked is so in power. This week, somebody lied and they tricked a lot of people into thinking that they didn't lie. The conversation they had, I said, wow, did people really fall for that? Because this is a liar. This man lied.
And Corey, sad to say, a lot of people, based on how the lead attorney presents himself, a lot of people said what he was saying. Corey Holcomb is in deep kimchi. He's in deep shit now. The lead attorney is pissed. Even I said it. Even I said it. I said, the lead attorney might have rocked the boat here a little bit, what he was saying. But again, I sat back and I said, before I do a stream on this, let me see back. Because Corey gonna have an answer for this. I can guarantee you that. And boy, did he come out swinging. Let's go.
And then I'm not a lawyer, but in court, that conversation he had with the people, I'm talking about leading a nigga ass law. Leading a nigga ass law. That conversation he had with people would only work with the feeble minds. I have not seen or talked to lead in a nigga ass law since we said goodbye to him at the Yard House. Me, Darlene, and Craig. And we thought he was a well-intended guy, which is why last week I thought I was trying to say, damn, man, you lied. You ain't said nothing. So, okay.
Now, you got to give Corey credit for that, because he did say, listen, I didn't say nothing about you, my man, because you didn't say nothing about me. So let's leave it at that. That should have been squashed. But again, like Anton Daniels, again, y'all got to understand, I'm not a Corey fan or against or for Corey, but I will say now, because I didn't do my due diligence, the first thing I did once they started pointing out the different points of view of what he had amongst the younger female, I'm like, I can't rock with you. But that's my personal preference. But one thing has nothing to do with the other. Now, if you don't rock with Corey because of some of the statements he made about the younger females, understandable. But this here, I think the lead attorney might have put himself in a whole different shit.
Back up off you. But no, he came back with a presentation of bullshit for the feeble minds. And I pray for the feeble minds because they fell for that. I'm going to play, before I bring on the brother who I said he's known for helping people. And trust me, I can't believe that I finally got somebody to help me like this, because it's hard to find people to help you like this. Hey, Abe, do you have that audio when the brother Derek Dion gave a call about leading a nigga ass law? Do you have that? My attorney called about this situation just to check something as thorough people would do. This is just a small chunk of what we have found with this guy.
Now, I didn't do any research on the lead attorney, but as soon as Corey said this lawyer's name, as soon as I could see it, I typed him up. My man is legit. That was the first thing, to give him credibility. That was the first thing I did, was go look at his credential. Easy to find.
Right here. This is a farce. But can you play that video when, yeah, play the video when Derek called about dude.
Membership, Rachel speaking.
Yes, Rachel. My name is Attorney Derek Dean. I'm an attorney licensed down here in Houston, Texas. And I wanted to refer one of my friends to a divorce attorney in Atlanta, but I wanted to check his membership status first.
Okay, what's the name?
His name is Jameson, Jameson, Corey with a C, and last name Campbell, Campbell.
Okay, Mr. Jameson Campbell is currently on inactive status.
And it just took just that quick of a call, folks. If you knew this guy's name, which I'm sure several of us didn't, but it took just that quick to show you that a lead attorney is not a practicing attorney. Two things that you know that to make this to be true. That lady didn't know who was calling her. She was in a position to give an answer like that just by typing in his name. His name must have been on somebody's database. Why would somebody put themselves through possible litigation to say something bad about the lead attorney?
Y'all heard that shit? First of all, most of you motherfuckers didn't even know his motherfucking name, and you believed in this motherfucker. This nigga won your heart with a nickname. My name is Corey Holcomb. My attorney name is Derek Dion. This ain't the only thing we discovered about this lead in a nigga-ass law.
Now, let me speak on that. The lead attorney, he should not expect any expectation of privacy. Why? Because he presents himself as a lawyer, not a content creator, that he actually has put things and say, okay, I can't represent you, client, y'all see, client, whatever it is, client privilege. And then he tell you he's not acting as a real lawyer, but then he charged you for information that a real lawyer would give you. You can't make this up, folks. If it was that easy for me to find it, once he gave out his name, everything that they're saying right now is true. Did he dox him? I don't know.
Fake motherfucker.
Let me ask, put a 1 on the chat if you think he doxed him. Put a 2 in the chat if you think he didn't dox him. I'm interested. Because I don't think the lead attorney had any expectation of privacy because of what he represents. You're going to have to deal with me. If you're saying I represent you, you're representing me as either a lawyer or referred me to one, I got to know who I'm dealing with. I want to know your name. Unlike me, folks don't know my real government name, DJ Music. What else you need to know about me? It's that cat that played music.
I don't want to take it all over. My brother has taken the time out his busy schedule to come on and talk about this with me. Brother Dion, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Brother Dion, listen. I'm gonna turn it over to you. And just let you say what you're going to say right now. But I got a couple of questions that we can put out there for this fake-ass motherfucker that I think is an operative because his profile doesn't look real. But is it something you want to tell the people? Because this fake motherfucker called you out your name, and I don't know why he did that. If he's really a man who is a...
And to be quite honest with you, I think that's where the lead attorney went awry. That he called this lawyer that's about to speak a liar. Ethically, that man was not going to sit back and take that. Oh, hell no. What did the lead attorney expect? You called this man a junkyard lawyer, basically. I don't think your lawyer is giving you good advice. You remember how he was tearing down Corey's lawyer in so many code words? Now we know that not to be true, huh?
Lawyer? But I'm just saying, is it something you want to say in the beginning? Because you've done the research on this. You know what's happening, Dion.
Definitely. Well, I want to talk directly to lead attorney. You know, when he first reached out to me, he reached out to me as a comrade, a brother, and a friend. And, you know, I trusted this guy. I never thought that he would use me for content. See, I'm a real trial lawyer. I'm not a YouTube lawyer. I don't understand how this whole content works. If you look at my YouTube page, I have 2 subscribers. He has 600,000. Now, when he first reached out to me, I didn't know that he had a relationship with Corey at first. I didn't know he was on Corey's show. So he really was backdooring Corey to try to get me on his show to do this interview. And we'll get to the whole part of whether Corey gave me consent or not at the end of this. But first, I want to talk about lead attorney. After he got on this show and basically disrespected me in my practice, I hired a private investigator, Sergeant Sean Morgan, down here in Fort Bend County in Texas. And one thing that we noticed about lead attorney is that, you know, for the last 25 years, he's paraded around everywhere. And for like the last 5 years, going under the name lead attorney. But if you look at all of his products, services, everything that it offers, he's never used his real name. I bet you don't know his real name. So my private investigator found out that his real name was Jamison Corey Campbell. And I reached out to the state bar and his license is inactive. I pulled the rules out of Georgia, even though I'm out of Texas. He's been on major platforms. He's been on DJ Vlad. He's been on Corey Holcomb's show. He's been on a lot of people's shows giving legal advice when this guy's license is inactive. And, you know, I will never.
Again, you heard it for yourself, folks. The lead attorney, without any hesitation, this lawyer that you see up on the screen behind the lead attorney says that the lead attorney's license is inactive. But that's not what he presents to y'all. I don't watch the man's shit. You know, every once in a while he'll have a snippet and he'll make the morning news. But I don't go watch the lead attorney. But you heard my man say he got 2 subscribers. I got a little under 2,000. The lead attorney got 680,000. On his way to 1 million. Come on, guys. Oh, ain't no bell.
Except being critiqued, judged, or ridiculed by somebody who's faking as a lawyer.
Man, I definitely understand. I didn't even want to bring you in this mess online because it's a war against me. And he found a slick way to jump in this war because YouTube, Derek, is based off popularity, whether it's good or bad. So when he lied and said, Corey said it's okay for me to talk to you, that's when I said he's lying. Then he tried to switch it around like you lied when the truth is you never talked to him about my case. Am I right?
Never talked to him.
And that's what the lead attorney was showing. He was showing proof positive that he had conversation with this man. But here it is. Do you think that man would put his reputation on the line for a YouTuber? You think that man would put his law license on the line to call the lead attorney a liar? Go back to the stream and look for yourself, folks.
About your case. See, the thing is that when he reached out to me, I was a little hesitant because his email or within his email, signature block, there was no legal name, there was no office address, there was no office phone number, there was no.
I hate to cut it off, but how many of y'all dealt with lawyers? When you get a piece of mail that gives you a probably a brick and mortar, an address on it, and somewhere when you open it up, it's going to say Esquire. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe not all of them say that, but a lot of them say attorney at law, Esquire, or something. What their government name?
Office email. He emailed me from a Gmail account. I mean, I was just a little hesitant to deal with this guy because, I didn't know anything about him. I wanted to vet him. I'm a trial lawyer, right? I've closed out 1,088 cases, 50 appeals. My cases have been in law books as binding.
1,088 cases closed out and 50 appeals. Listen to how many the lead attorney has done.
Authority. So I don't just go on popularity. I want to look into this guy and vet him and check him out. And I was hesitant from the beginning, but with him being an African-American lawyer, I'm seeing he has a big following. I'm like, this guy is legit. But because he lacked so many things, I was very hesitant. But ultimately, after he insulted me on his show, I hired my private investigator who
I told you it was all about that insult. You can't do that. You can't insult somebody and think there's no repercussions behind it. I guarantee the lead attorney did not expect this. You just put your entire YouTube in the trash can, lead, because now folks know that what you're saying is not true. You might have been a lawyer at one time, but you're not anymore.
I talked to, and he gave me some information, but I also talked to my good friend Durante Partridge, who's an attorney in Atlanta, who stopped by lead attorney's office, and we have pictures of this, only to find that his office is out of a trap house in Atlanta that has burglar bars. Yeah, it's a trap house, burglar bars on the front door. It's a commercial mail place. I mean, this guy he's had the whole world fooled, right?
Yeah.
No staff. Law trapping. I mean, this guy.
We got a picture of the place. Did you send them a picture of the place where his office is supposed to be?
I surely did. That would be slide. That would be slide 15 for the engineer.
You got the because it's just like, I understand they're after me. They want me to look bad, and I'm just saying it's like, okay, but. This guy lied.
This man is Jason Damn Boy. Put him on full mask.
I'm clear to talk.
Right.
What about it?
I will break that entire story down. So when he reached out to me, I said, hey, I need to speak to Corey first to see if I'm clear to speak about this. I ultimately learned that he had been on your show. You talked to him. You guys were good friends. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's telling me that, hey, I want to support Corey. Oh, I'm clear for that. You're a good guy. You've been on the show, et cetera, et cetera. Corey's a very busy man. I'm a very busy man. You have to go through the ranks to get to Corey sometimes. So no, Corey did not clear me to talk to him. But at the same time, this guy's saying that he's a friendly guy, and he's saying he's here to support Corey. And I know what to say on a lawyer's show and what not to say. And anything I'm going to say is just going to help Corey. So I didn't think it was a big deal. But this guy, he took that to say that I did something unethical. Unethical would be I settled Corey's case without his permission. I filed a lawsuit without running it by court. We're talking about a news interview, right? Lawyers get on the news at the drop of a dime every freaking day. It's not a big deal.
And that was my problem, folks. I was wondering why the lead attorney made a big deal of that, because that happens every day. Lawyers give interviews every day about the status of their client, the health of their client, how the particular lawyers think the defense, all that. Lawyers do that every day. That is not, as they say, lawyer-client privilege. That's just the news, especially if it's a high-profile thing. The lawyer should expect that the news is going to want to ask him questions, wouldn't you?
But when you're dealing with this YouTube guy, he's going to take something small, right, just to get clicks, likes, comments, and subscribes.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, this guy's engaging in an unauthorized practice of law, which is illegal. So for him to comment on me, I mean, I was just a little bit taken aback and surprised.
Well, there is no right or wrong in this crooked YouTube game, because the things that's being said about me, our position in society, comes from actually practicing law and watch this, helping people. Helping people. I know who you are, Brother Derek. I can't believe you're around helping me, to be quite honest. I'm glad you're around.
And I'll ask all the lead attorney folks, other than point you in the right direction, which you probably could get from Google, what has the lead attorney done for you?
Helping me. And now they got a picture of this. This is a mailbox place where it's supposed to be his office. How much does he charge? How much does he pay a month for this office?
$7.98. No
he
joke.
got a mailbox for $7.98, perpetrating like he's, listen, if you could read those signs that are up there, I encourage you to screenshot that and read those signs. This guy is fooling so many out of Trap House.
That's right.
I mean, come on, man.
And folks, since I know what area the lead attorney is, it wouldn't be hard to find this place right here. It really would not. I wouldn't call it a trap house, but to the left of that is another house that's probably very similar to that, and to another house that's very similar to that. This, well, I won't say, but I can guarantee you this. This picture wasn't taken last week. You know why? Because the grass is green.
What he's doing.
So if he has no office to go to, he gets dressed up for play. Right?
Right. I mean, if you look at those law books, those things might be hollow. My books are real back here. Not all law books, but they are real. I don't know if that's a green screen. Every time I see his degree, I have to squint my eyes.
Yeah.
You know, this guy is, I mean.
Was he able to operate? I mean, was he able to activate some type of law degree this week?
No, I mean, I called the bar today and his license is inactive. I called because, see, I found it online that it was inactive, but then I saw some stuff that said it was active. So, you know, I don't want to say anything about somebody, unlike him, that I don't fully vet, which is why I called the state bar, talked to Ms. Rachel, who's a part of the state bar membership department, and said his license is inactive. And if you go to his website, he's giving divorce advice and charging people for it. So,
and that's illegal, right?
That's every lawyer knows that. Every lawyer knows that.
Okay, and this is the guy. I just wanted to get to that part. But this is the guy that will tell you, yeah, I'm not going to charge you for advice as a lawyer, but I'm going to charge you. Now, you heard another lawyer telling you that's illegal. How many of y'all will still take advice from the lead attorney and pay him for it? I can Google some shit and give you advice on it. You ain't got to pay me nothing. Again, big shout out to Not for Humans. Appreciate the clip. Folks, the link is down in the description. You can either check out the 5150 show or you can check out Not for Humans and check out his clip on that. I used this one because it was kind of short and compact, like Candy Cane saying, you know, unbiased. So appreciate that, my man. Good job on that one. So let's get to the next one here, folks. Okay, last but not least, y'all know who we got to talk about. Anton Daniels and his My Side Piece, allegedly, because you got to use that word when you start talking about him. His side piece, allegedly. She did an interview recently. I started seeing it pop up yesterday. Some folks did some things on it today. I think Taz did something on it. Another young lady did something on it from one of the stand. She's making her YouTube rounds, trying to explain. But from what I saw, folks, it's not going very well for her. And the first stream that I saw with this, everybody was saying that, I knew it was Platinum Elite. That was the first person I saw talking about this. But there was some folks in this chat room was talking more about the interviewer than they were talking about what the woman was focused on. So let's focus on the interviewer as well as the woman in both of this. And I'm going to show you, I think the interviewer did a bang up job. I think he held her feet to the fire, so much so that she told on her damn self. Let's go.
I want to really drive it home. Has Anton ever flirted with you?
Flirted with me as a sense of what?
Naturally,
just naturally, like we're sitting here, or because I'm gonna explain.
Well, I don't want to.
Flirting is flirting, naturally or not. I don't know how many of y'all already know this. I'm sure all of y'all know this, but this is a married woman flirting with you, natural or not. What you mean? Or just sitting here? Y'all got to be walking. That was my first thing.
Get it to wordsmithing.
Now, this part right here is interesting. He asked her directly, did Anton ever flirt with you? She says no. Then she clarifies. On-air compliments like, you're sweet, you're beautiful, you're cute. She frames it as content, pumped. Okay, then she said something important. She was a little off-put. Now pause. If something makes you off-put, that means it registered, it landed, it wasn't neutral. But at the same time, she said it wasn't a problem. She didn't address it. She didn't set a boundary. She didn't correct it. So now we're in this gray area. It wasn't flirting, but it was off-put. But it wasn't serious enough to confront. So the question becomes, if you're married and something feels even slightly off-put publicly, shouldn't that automatically become a boundary moment? Not accusation, just alignment. Because off-put but not a problem is a very thin line in public business relationships. Let's keep watching.
No, there's no wordsmithing.
Okay.
The reason why I'm asking.
Because then I want to talk about some pictures too.
No, yeah,
Okay.
I got you. But
Yeah.
the reason why I'm asking is because there's two different things, right? So Anton
I gotta
does
hear this.
things for content, and then there's things that Anton would do if we're just sitting here.
Okay.
So if you're saying personally, if me and Anton was just sitting here, no.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about for content, when we're doing the virtual rooms and things for the show.
Before we get into this interview, I want y'all to watch closely. Not emotional, not gossip driven, but analytical. This isn't about picking sides. This isn't about dragging anybody. This is about consistency, body language, timing, and accountability. As you watch, pay attention to how the language shifts. Notice when answers are direct and when they become vague. Listen for moments where something is explained clearly, and then moments where it gets cloudy. Watch how the tone changes when certain topics come up. The husband, the wife, the pictures, the timing. Also, pay attention to what's answered immediately and what requires reframing first. This conversation isn't about proving guilt or innocence. It's about perception versus intent. It's about optics versus explanation. And sometimes the truth isn't in what's said. It's in how it's said. So don't just listen, observe. Let's get into it.
Mika, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. The reason why I really wanted to talk with you is obviously the whole incident between Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And has Anton met your husband?
In person, absolutely not.
I got a problem with that off the rip. What the hell you mean? Hell you mean? You in business with somebody and you haven't introduced your spouse, man or woman. You have not introduced your spouse to someone that you're in this type business with, the entertainment industry, that you will be required to have conversations outside. You will be required to travel with this person. How did you manage to tell your husband that you decided to take on a business partner? Or have you told him? If the question to that is absolutely, positively not.
He has not met him in person. Has he met him over the phone or in DM? What other form of introduction when you say not in person?
Because a lot of people assume that, when you have to see people, it has to be in person, or that if you don't meet them in person, then it's something or whatever. So
no, so I'm saying, what's the form of communication?
I mean,
that he met your
they
husband?
they don't have a form of communication where they talk back and forth.
Yeah. So, but you said he did not meet your husband in person.
No.
Is that to imply that he met him virtually?
No.
So he's never met your husband?
No.
Now, hold on. He asks a simple question. Did Anton meet your husband? And instead of a clean...
No, and you're absolutely right, Candy Cane. It's not a necessary meeting in person, but it is the acknowledgement to let your husband know this is who I'm going to be with, or let your wife know this is who I'm going to be with. This is who I'm going to be doing business with. Why does I say it's important? Because part of the money, especially if part of the money to start the business is coming from you or your husband or your wife, that's a household thing that we need to talk about. I need to know who you're in business with, so our money don't go belly up. Male or female, I need to know.
No, we get a whole paragraph. Transparency, awareness. My husband knows everything. Business context, not in person. Indirect familiarity. Whoa, that wasn't the question. The question wasn't about awareness. It wasn't about transparency. It was about energy alignment. It was binary. Did they meet? And when the interviewer tightens it up, so your husband never met Anton? Now it's finally clear. No. See, that's the part. When the answer is simple, but it takes layers to get there, that's not confusion. That's cushioning. Because if everything was strictly business and clean, then no should have been the first word out of your mouth.
No should have been the first word out of your mouth. End of story. No, if there was no, and then maybe the interviewer would have said, why haven't you, why? Maybe you didn't want to answer the why. Oh, yeah, my husband has met him before, not on a personal level, they haven't shaken hands, but my husband or my wife is fully aware that this person is my business partner.
Not the last one. Let's keep it moving. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more.
But the one time that I would have is when we had an event here, but he had to work. So, I mean.
But have you made it a concerted effort to make it happen? We do what we want to do, when we want to do it, for whom we want to do it for. And if something is really important.
Wait a minute. She said he had to work. Now, let's examine that for a minute. I know I got to be getting out of here pretty soon, but he had to work. So you mean to tell me Anton just popped up? This wasn't the schedule, that you couldn't look at your husband, I'm in business. And Anton or Antoinette is coming into town, and I want you to meet this person for this. We won't be on business on this day, but he's coming or she's coming into town on this day. Let me introduce you, or at least you mean you couldn't talk to him on the phone? You can't FaceTime him? There's too many ways to say there's absolutely no reason that you can give that your husband or your wife is not aware of your business partner. If it's legitimate business, what you got to hide? Why don't you want your spouse to know that you're working with someone of the opposite sex if you had nothing to hide?
To you and your family, either on your end as a wife, you absolutely make a concerted effort for this man, or
go ahead,
or Anton as a man says, I want to meet your husband just because you're married, and I don't want any messaging or anything else to be misconstrued by him or the public. So it's fair that I introduce myself. Has that conversation happened?
No, that conversation has not happened. And I understand what you're saying.
Uh-oh. I'm not sure what happened here. Did we freeze up?
Content in my DM Yep. And said, isn't this your girl? Isn't this the young lady that was on the show you used to produce? I said, sure. And I thought about it. And then I made a decision we should talk. So thank you kindly for accepting it. Many people know about you, but some people don't. And I think this is the opportunity to let people know who you are. So I know you from a conservative perspective.
Yes.
I know that you also have your own show, and you do much around politics.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, folks, I went into the young lady's channel, and to be quite honest with you, she is a conservative. She has a different viewpoint on politics than I do. So to be quite honest with you, I'm not interested in her channel. Now, from what I understand, her channel has blown up recently because of this scandal and a few other things. But for the most part, Anton picked her at pretty much at random. And I think that's hard for her to get away from a small channel of being a content listener to Anton picking you out of the crowd. That's the question a lot of people want to ask. Why did he pick you? And why haven't you told your husband? Be a different story, ma'am, if you were single. It was really not our business. But in this case, you present yourself as something that you're really not. And Anton is presenting himself as something that he's really not. That's why people are interested in whether you two are knocking boots. That's the only reason it's somebody else's business now, because of the persona that you two put out.
And you're obviously an aficionado of President Trump. So let's begin to tell people about who you are, and more specifically, your role as a conservative.
Okay, well, if you guys don't know, my name is Pop Culture Mika, or just Mika. All right, I am a conservative. I am a Trump supporter, voter, whatever you want to call it. That's what I am. However, my conservative views are not based on Donald Trump. My entire family has always been conservative. We've always had just those types of values. And then when it comes to me being an adult, just having the luxury of smaller government, or wanting smaller government,
Yep.
wanting, not to be taxed for every little thing, and just understanding how government actually works. It wasn't a thought for me to not be,
Well, it's funny, Mika, because you did a stream on tariffs, and it was 100% wrong. Tariffs affect the American consumer. We pay the tariffs, but you led your folks to believe, now you can go and check for yourself, that Trump's tariffs was good for the economy. So isn't that double talk right there? Let's continue.
liberal.
Yeah, do you feel that mainstream media act
hyper aware of media optics, hyper aware of perception, hyper aware of narratives, and then act confused when imagery, proximity, and positioning create optics? You can't call yourself strategic, business-minded, politically sharp, and then act surprised when public perception does what public perception always does. That's not hate, that's math. When you live in media, optics are currency. And if you don't manage the optics will manage you. Let's keep watching.
Right? So I tend to, because I'm a conservative, I vote Republican, but I am registered as a non-affiliate, because my whole thought process is, you want to make sure you listen to both sides, but in this day and age, liberalism has gone just far to the left. So there's no way I would,
And again, you're absolutely right there, HT Ball One. Again, go over to her stream yourself and listen to some of her political talking points. It's just a bunch of rambling. It does not make sense. What you're hearing now, with her speak about her political points, is what you'll hear over there on her channel. I'm not telling you to not go and subscribe, but go see for yourself. If you want to subscribe to her, that's on you. But I guarantee you, what you're hearing now, you will hear in each one of her streams as she's talking political. Oh, come on, y'all. Y'all know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm a liberal, but then you talk bad about the Bush era. I'm a liberal, but then you talk about, I'm a conservative, excuse me. But then you talk about the very people that prop up conservatism. How are you going to be a staunch Republican and then say you vote in another direction? How does that make sense? Word salad.
The president manages his own.
That they won't play the entire thing, and that would be the focus.
Okay, pause it right there. So the Obamas heads on apes? She says, well, I wouldn't have
Taken and look and things like that. And I know that the mainstream media doesn't allow for nuance. I know it doesn't allow for certain variations. And I would know that they won't play the entire thing, and that would be the focus.
Okay, pause it right there.
Okay, let me pause it right there. So y'all heard this was her take again, like the angry man. This was her take on saying that what Trump did was not racist, that she know that the mainstream media would not play the entire thing. What else did you need to see, whether you saw 1 second of it or 30 seconds of it, or you watched the entire clip? How much did you need to see of that to convince that this was a racist trope retweeted by towards the Obamas because Barack Obama lives free in Trump's head? What's hard about saying that? Call it for what it is.
So the Obamas heads on apes? She says, well, I wouldn't have done it, but I understand the context. Context. See, this is where politics gets magical, because somehow an ape trope, one of the oldest racist tropes in Western history, just becomes misunderstood artistry. And notice the move. It's not racist. The media made it racist. So the imagery isn't the problem. The reaction is. That's like saying, I didn't light the match. The fire just misunderstood my intention.
Okay.
Positive truth here. If you have to explain why something isn't racist for 5 straight minutes, it probably wasn't neutral in the first place.
Bottom line.
Let's keep watching.
Let's call a thing. Is Donald Trump, President Trump, a racist to you as a conservative Republican, Afro-Latino woman? Is President Trump a racist to you?
No.
Okay. By evidence of what that he isn't?
By evidence of his track record.
And expound what the track record is.
So Donald Trump, it has a track record of actually doing a lot of things for the people, meaning everybody, versus just talking about it, versus just grandstanding and actually not doing anything but using a group of people to do something.
Okay, folks, has she answered the question at all yet? I'll ask any, I'll ask any Trump supporter, what policies have Trump put in place, the few policies that have actually worked? Which one? But this is what you'll get when you go. I know y'all thought I was going to talk about her and Anton Daniels, but she calls herself a political commentator. This is what you get when you're going over there.
Like when he says he's going to hire the best, and if it's a black person, it is because that person is the best, not because I just.
Okay, the one black person that's in here, what's his name? When the last time you heard from him? The other black person that we talk about, it was in Trump cabinet, 2 black people. One of them was Ben Carson. What was he doing? Brain surgeon was at the head of HUD. What happened to Omarosa when her usefulness wore out? What happened to Tim Scott when his usefulness wore out? What happened to Byron Donalds when his usefulness as a black person wore out? What happened to your kinfolks, those Afro-Latinos that can't walk down the street no more, man? Puerto Ricans, El Salvadorians, all these different people that come from the Southern Hemisphere that are targets now. But you don't see that until it happens to you, miss.
Want to have a figurehead that's just black or that's just Latino. That person is actually a qualified person.
Is Patel Cash a figurehead? Because I think he's the only person of color in the Trump administration. It appears that the bulk of the Trump administration is predominantly white.
No. So the other person would be the HUD secretary. He's also black.
Yeah, who's invisible?
No, he's not invisible.
We don't hear about him.
Well, the mainstream media doesn't promote it. That's not my.
What is to promote about him? Did anybody know his name until just now? Did any of y'all could name me one thing that Scott Turner's talked about? What we're supposed to put in the news about? Did y'all know his name? Did y'all know it?
problem. That's not Trump's problem. That's the mainstream media's problem.
No.
Because the mainstream media also doesn't promote the fact that Joe Biden is a racist. And so is Kamala.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now, when you mentioned earlier, and then we'll sort of pivot from Trump.
There we go. Back to Joe Biden, back to Kamala. Deflection. This is what you get from her channel, folks. We don't have to guess whether she's Anton Daniels' mistress because we know she is. Would you subscribe to this channel? Would you be checking for her if it not been for the scandal that Anton Daniels would have been in? Would any of us know about her? Because I don't watch Anton Daniels. The only reason I'm talking about her is why?
That Trump does something for all people.
Yes.
Give me an example of what all people, including Black Americans and people of color, Black and brown, have benefited from. What is it that he's done for all people that I and others have benefited from?
Well, I would say let's start with immigration, because let's be clear, the money that gets allocated to immigrants, especially in places like Chicago, can actually go to Black communities, can actually go to.
Okay, immigration has been a part of this country since for when? Ever? So miss me with that. Again, y'all heard that earlier. They always refer to immigration. So let me ask you something, Miss Lady. Which one of those slaughterhouses are you going to work in? It's always immigration, the big bad wolf. They always need an enemy. And here it is, immigration. She comes straight to it. All the money that's being allocated for immigration. Well, guess what? Are you talking about that? How many billion is it that Trump trying to get from the Treasury? Are you talking about that? Are you talking about the amount of money that the government already has paid Trump? Are you talking about that?
Latino communities that are actually here legally, right? When you allocate funds to a group of people that are not paying taxes, that don't contribute to the community, and you're not putting.
Not true. If they're not paying taxes, why aren't they paying taxes? Because that means some employer hired illegal aliens, regardless they're from the southern border or any other border. They hired them under the table. That's not the illegal aliens' fault. That's the fault of the employer. Wouldn't you agree? You know that you are breaking the law because you hired them without giving them a W-2 form. You know the government charge you per employee. If you got a certain number of employees, you pay this much of what work comps taxes. If you got this much, you got this much. But if you're not telling the government that you having all these people that's working for you, whose fault is it? It's the illegal alien that's out of work, that's trying to feed a family, that can go and get cash money every week. Keep some for himself, send some back home. Is that his fault? I venture to say not. But this is what these guys are telling you.
Putting them in these white liberal communities. You're putting them in Black communities. You're putting them in communities that are already in despair. When you send ICE there, which, if you ever seen an episode of my show, The Red Cup, I've had Chicago Flips Red on. And Chicago Flips Red are all Black women, and they are Republican. And they talk about the high taxes that the Democrats are putting on the Black liberals there, instead of actually doing fiscally safe policies. All of these things, which is immigration. Because, again...
Strong statement. That positions her...
But there are other people, including other Black people, including other Latino people that came here the right way, that paid all of this money. You'll get to jump the Rio Grande and think I'm supposed to have sympathy for you.
Let me ask you this, and then we can...
No, right now, what she's failing to say is, folks, that although, yes, immigration is a problem, Donald Trump and his regime does not care who he's rounding up right now. That is the point. No one is not saying fix the immigration system. But there's a more humane way of doing it, what Trump is doing right now. Rounding people up, busting in people's houses, shooting protesters. We'll all see this happening. There's no doubt about this. But this is her answer.
To move on, do you think white ethnic people in this country are immigrants and also usurping opportunities from black and brown people?
Now, wait a minute. Earlier in this interview, she clearly says her family is indigenous and not immigrants. Strong statement. That positions her argument in a very specific lane, especially when discussing immigration policy.
Okay.
But then during the discussion about white ethnic groups, Polish, German, Irish, the interviewer says Polish, and she responds, which I am. Okay, now we have to slow this down. Not emotionally, but logically. Are we talking about nationality, ethnicity, lineage, citizenship status? Because those are not the same thing. You can be American born and still descend from immigrants. You can identify as indigenous on one side and Polish on another. That's not unusual in America. But when you're making strong arguments about who belongs, who came the right way, and who is not from here, clarity matters.
And that's the bottom part of it. And this is what these folks are doing. All these folks that call themselves tethers or ADOS or FBA, all that. Let me say something to you right now before we close out here. No matter how you walk down the street, folks are going to definitely know who you are because of the color of your skin. They're not going to ask you, are you a descendant of a slave? Or are you a foundational Black America? Now let's talk about foundational Black America for a minute. Tariq Nasheed came up with this 6, 7 years ago. Before that, we were all just Black. We all were descendants of slaves. Now all of a sudden we're foundational Black Americans. Well, let's talk about the word foundational. Means you laid the groundwork for something, right? There was something built from what you put here. Now, did Black people inhabit this area? Yes. Did they trade with the native people? Yes. Did they visit this area, the New World? Yes. Did they leave a foundation here? No. Black, at no point in time in the history before we started calling ourselves that was we Black Americans. Or before they allowed that, I don't want to use that term, excuse me. But before we were Black Americans, we were Negroes. We were the other N-word. We were colored. But now you have these folks that think that by calling themselves foundational Black Americans, let's talk about that America. When did slavery end? 1865. When did this place become a country? Baked into the Constitution, built into the Constitution, that you as a Black man, as a Black woman, or a Black child was only to be counted as 3/5 of a person. You weren't included in the America that was built. No matter the contributions that we gave, no matter how great we are, we did not help build the America that you guys are talking about. Now let's talk about this shit that folks are running around talking about, reparations. The Trump regime wants to spend $81 billion on immigration reform, either to put people out or to keep people out. $81 billion. Now I want you to ask yourself, how many Black Americans are there in this country? Taken from that $81 billion that they want to stop or keep people from coming into this country or put people out of this country, how much of that money could be given to Black folks as they so-called reparations and still have plenty? If you got money to keep them out and they put them out, what's the harm in reparations? Like I said before, the harm in reparations is you got to tell people why you're doing it, what you broke, what you paying to repair it for. And that's the problem. That's why the United States of America will never give Black people reparations. They gotta say, I'm sorry, and they're not. Have a good night, folks.
Look, all you motherfuckers been snitching for him and shit. Now you standing up in here and goddamn it talking about preaching preacher. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that. I'm gonna shoot your ass too, motherfucker. Keep on. You gonna get shot too, nigga. You gonna get shot. God bless the fool, goddammit. God bless the fool. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna end this goddamn thing. Look, where's that goddamn money bowl at? Who got that money bowl? We're taking that money right now before you leave this bitch. We ain't leaving out here for free, motherfucker. Yeah. Y'all know the motherfucker ain't no good. You want, look,